December 2011, the UN Environment Management Group widened the perspective on green economy, that is, working towards a balanced and inclusive green economy.
Now, current situation. At present, India is the fourth largest emitter of CO2 and ranked 140th in the world for overall emissions. If we see in India, 15 states contribute nearly 95% of all the manufacturing emissions, and out of these, only 10 states contribute 80%. Here is a histograph depicting CO2 emissions in different years and in different fields. Now, here is a pie chart showing share of world's carbon footprint with respect to its population. Moving toward carbon credit. India stood as the largest beneficiaries of carbon trade claiming 31% CDM. Now, here are some of the trading projects in India. Now moving towards green economy. In our annual budget announced on 1st Feb, ministers have shown interest toward green economy, but it lacks specifics. Like our finance minister talked about supplying solar powered irrigation pumps to near about 20 million farmers, and at present there are 30 million traditional pumps for irrigation purpose. She talked about selling the electricity through these pumps, but not about the two-way meters for tracking supplies. It is really shocking to know that we are dependent on China for about 80% of the solar energy. But as a developing nation, Adani Green Energy from SECI is in a plan to generate 8 gigawatts of solar projects. If India shifted to green economy, we can add an estimate of 3 million jobs in the international labour organizations. Until 2019, this produced almost 50,000 jobs. Now, carbon offsetting. There are many projects working for carbon offsetting and reducing carbon emission. One of them is in Andhra Pradesh and second is a photovoltaic project in Maharashtra. The total emission reduction due to the projects is approx 11,50,000 tons of CO2 equivalent. The carbon offsetting projects working in India also provide numerous social and economic benefits as well as follow sustainable development goals such as quality education, sanitization, clean energy, etc.
Causes and effect. India ranks third in the global list, accounting for 2.46 billion metric tons or 6.8% of the total global emissions, having contributors like food, consumption, transportation, and household energy. Burning of fossil fuels used for transportation like gasoline and diesel releases CO2 in the atmosphere, buildup of which causes Earth's atmosphere to warm, resulting in the changes in the climate that we are already starting to see today. And approximately 62% of our electricity comes from burning fossil fuels, which results in the production of CO2 responsible for global warming. The five industry categories of paper, food, petroleum, refineries, chemicals, and metal or mineral products contributes the most, and commercial factor contributes of about 13% of 2019 carbon emission, where the emissions from businesses and homes arise primarily from fossil fuels burned for heat. Greenhouse gas emission from agriculture come from the use of chemical fertilizers, pesticides, chemical waste, and from livestock such as cows, agricultural soil, and rice production. Carbon footprints are dangerous in that they threaten the livelihood of our planet, animals, humans, and ultimately life as we know it. It causes global warming, acid rain, air pollution, and also its effects on plants, animals, and aquatic life can't be ignored. Higher temperatures are worsening many types of disasters, including storms, heat waves, floods, and droughts. A warmer climate creates an atmosphere that can collect, retain, and drop more water, changing weather patterns in such a way that wet areas are becoming more wetter and dry areas are becoming more drier. Prolonged exposure to toxic pollutants from various sources affects the normal functioning of life. Ambient air pollution in India causes 6,70,000 deaths annually and aggravates respiratory and cardiovascular conditions. Acid rain is a rain with a pH of less than 5, whose main components are sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides, which rise high into the atmosphere where they mix and react with other chemicals to form more acidic pollutants. Even our seventh wonder couldn't escape from its effect. It gets corroded due to the reaction of marble with acids, and also the soot particles emitted from Mathura oil refinery located near Agra is leading to the yellowing of its marbles. Even though plants need carbon dioxide, but high level of it diminishes the cooling power of the tree, causes less productive plants, reducing natural habitat for animals and resulting in their migration to new areas. Oceans are becoming more acidic, making aquatic species increasingly vulnerable. It reduces the ability of marine organisms such as corals, planktons, and shellfish to build their shells and skeletal structures.
Role of government. Through government authorities, policies can ensure that reducing carbon emissions is a matter of law. Some of the objectives set out by the government include reducing the production of greenhouse gases through carbon budgets and carbon limits. Coming to the point, that what is government currently doing to reduce carbon emissions. Kyoto Protocols. As a part of United Nations framework on climate change, the Kyoto Protocol was established to create policies and measures to reduce greenhouse gases emission. EU Emission Trading Scheme. The EU Emissions Trading Scheme is a part of policy to combat climate change. It enables the cost-effective reduction of greenhouse gas. Climate Change Act 2008. This act was introduced to legally assure the reduction of carbon emissions. An outline of the Climate Change Act requires the government to execute methods that will reduce the production of both carbon dioxide and greenhouse gases. Next slide. The Carbon Plan. In December 2011, the government developed the Carbon Plan with the proposals for achieving reduction and meeting the 2050 target. This plan is in accordance with the Climate Change Act 2008 and determines the ways in which the emission reduction targets will be achieved. In the home, the government is working to reduce carbon-based demands through sustainable additions to the home. In the industry, the Carbon Trust provides assistance to the worldwide organizations promoting the reduction of carbon and providing them with the means of sustainable future. Transport. The government is attempting to reduce greenhouse gas emissions produced through transport.
Role of an individual. Individual creates institutions which influence cultures, which influence individuals, which provide incentives, and round we go. But individuals can provide direction for the field. Here are some of the easiest ways that one can apply in their day-to-day life to reduce carbon footprint. Eat low on the food chain like fruits, veggies, grains, and beans, and choose organic and local foods that are in season. Buy foodstuff in bulk when possible using your own reusable container. Next is clothing. Buy vintage or recycled clothing and consignment shop. Don't buy fast fashion like trendy, cheap items that produce methane as decompose. Next is shopping. Opt for a laptop instead of desktop. It requires less energy to charge. Try to avoid items with excess packaging. Next is home. Turn your water
Beta, you
heater
have
down
3 minutes to bind. Okay.
20
Yeah.
Fahrenheit. This can save about 550 pounds of CO2 a year. Installing a low flow shower head to reduce hot water use can 350 pounds of CO2. Switch lights off when you leave the room and unplug your electronic devices when they are not in use. Next is transport. If you are shopping for a new car, consider purchasing a hybrid or electric vehicle, or longer trips turn on the previous control, which can save gas. Use less air conditioning while you drive, even when the weather is hot. Next is travel. If you can't fly, offset the carbon emission of your travel, otherwise avoid flying. Go economy class, business class, and result in 9 times more carbon emission than economy. Role of an individual in carbon credit. Buying the carbon credit is an offset for the reduction of such gases. Main goal for the creation of carbon credits is the reduction of emission of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases from industrial activities to reduce the effect of global warming. Role of an individual in carbon offsetting. Renewable projects, energy efficiency, reduction of greenhouse gases, carbon sequestration in soil forest. Role of an individual in green economy. Establish sound regulatory framework, remove harmful subsidies, prioritize green investment, utilize market mechanization, build capacity through training and technology transfer consumption patterns.
One thing that will surely contour the basically this century will more dramatic than any other will surely be the climate change, and in whose basically footprint of the carbon will surely be remarkable. Thank you.
Okay. Good. Very good. Anyone has any question from the audience? Okay. Um, well presented. So I have few questions. Okay. My first quick question is, do forests have carbon footprint? Yeah, beta, my question is, do forests have carbon footprint? Yeah, try to
Yes,
answer it.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. Any reason behind it? It means what
Because, ma'am,
made you answer it right? Yeah.
ma'am, because forest both फेवर भी करता है क्लाइमेट को, और मतलब रिडक्शन इसमें कार्बन इमिशंस में हमें लॉस भी होता है।
Mm-hmm.
मतलब ये मतलब सॉल्यूशन भी है और कॉज भी है इसका, मतलब दोनों चीजें होती हैं इसमें।
Okay. Okay. Good.
Basically, ma'am, basically approximately 2.6 billion tons of carbon dioxide, that is one third of carbon dioxide, is released from burning of fossil fuels, which is
Mm-hmm.
observed by forests every year. So we
Mm-hmm.
can say that in one way, and basically for manufacturing of everything, the goods and services which are directly or indirectly depend on our forests, are
Mm-hmm.
basically one of the reason that basically, and as we know that carbon basically due to the process of photosynthesis,
Mm-hmm.
it consumes carbon dioxide from our atmosphere. So whenever we basically change it one form into another, then there's an emission of basically carbon dioxide gas for sure. So that's why we can say that it is surely basically lit its footprint of carbon in our environment also. But yes, here's the thing that basically by avoiding the monoculturism, as we have explained, as you have explained earlier, and basically providing the very well this is a sustainable resource management, by doing basically and applying the notion of sustainable development, we can surely combat it.
Okay. Thank you, Pallavi. Thank you, Pallavi. Um, okay. Thank you so much. Hmm. Okay. So now you can stop sharing your presentation, and I'll call upon second group, that is, where is it? Yeah. Aishwarya, Ananya, Astha, Ayushi, Prachi, and Sakshi Gupta. They will speak on environmental accidents in India. You can directly begin introducing, or begin from the introduction. Okay. Yeah. So, Sneha, better stop presenting so that the next group can present their PPT.
Ma'am, I'm stopping. It's
Okay,
just
fine,
not
fine.
responding.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay. What you can do is, Sneha, just go out of the class, then log in again. You can leave the class and then you can come again. Okay, good. Now, next group, Aishwarya and others. Yeah.
Ma'am, is my screen visible?
Yes, your screen is visible. Your voice is clear. So, good. So, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Okay. So, you can begin with your presentation. Yes, you can begin, beta.
Twenty-five thousand, 7, 34, 28, 1400. Ever wondered what these numbers are? Well, these numbers are actually the deaths caused due to environmental accidents in India. Want to know more about environmental accidents? Here we are to explain what exactly environmental accidents are.
Firstly, we will discuss what is environmental accident. Environmental accident is an unexpected occurrence, failure, or loss with the potential for harming the ecosystem or natural resources. In this PPT, we are discussing about first Bhopal gas tragedy, second forest fires in Uttarakhand, third boiler blast in Tamil Nadu. Now we will discuss about Bhopal gas tragedy. Bhopal disaster caused by a chemical leak in 1984 in the city of Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh state, India. On December 3, 1984, about 45 tons of dangerous gas, methyl isocyanate, escaped from an insecticide plant that was owned by the Indian subsidiary of the American firm Union Carbide Corporation. The gas drifted over the densely populated neighborhoods around the plant, killing thousands of people, almost 3,787 people, and created a panic as tens of thousands of people attempted to flee Bhopal. Now we will discuss how the gas leaked. Union Carbide India's Bhopal facility housed 368,000 liter liquid methyl isocyanate storage tank. No tank was allowed to be filled more than 50% of its capacity, and the tank was pressurized with inert nitrogen gas. The pressurization allowed liquid methyl isocyanate to pumped out of each tank. As per the rules, each of the tank could not be filled more than 30 tons of liquid methyl isocyanate, but this tank was 42 tons. On December 2, water had entered the malfunctioning tank, which resulted in a runaway chemical reaction. The pressure increased 5 times by night. About 30 tons of methyl isocyanate escaped from the tank into atmosphere within an hour. This is how the gas leaked. Warren Anderson was the man whose plant was the source of deadly methyl isocyanate gas. Due to Bhopal gas incident, around 2,000 people died instantly. Animals lay dead on the streets.
Now, coming up to the Kadlar Tamil Nadu boiler blast, which occurred at the Crimson Organics. Let me tell you a very interesting fact about it. According to Shweta Narayan, an environmentalist, the Kadlar Sipcot blast was an industrial disaster on waiting. For the last 15 years, villagers have been pointing this out, but unfortunately, this had fallen on the deaf ears of the government and the regulatory agencies. At the end, the CM MK Stalin announced a solatium of rupees 3 lakh each to the bereaved families and rupees 1 lakh each to the 13 person who suffered injuries. Now gearing up towards the forest fire in Uttarakhand in 2016. The 2016 Uttarakhand forest fires were a series of widespread damaging wildfires that took place between April and May. The fires were caused by a heat wave that spread across Uttarakhand and were the worst recorded in the region, with reported 4,538 hectares of forest burnt down and 7 people dead. Now, let's have a look on a disaster which is still going on in today's date, the forest fires in the regions of Uttarakhand again, which started in around 2020 and still continues to flare. Its major cause was lack of rainfall, which occurred due to global warming, which is for sure a man-made cause. Uttarakhand ranked second in the country after Madhya Pradesh in terms of active instances of fire on April 5, 2021, according to the Forest Survey of India. Next.
So now it's really important to know the causes and effects of any accident to determine how dangerous it was and to prevent it in future. So there could be these three main causes: gas leak, nuclear breakdown, and industrial fire. So now let's talk about them one by one. Gas leak, which could be referred as unintended leak of any gas from any container. Its obvious causes are improper use of appliances, defective equipment, or faulty manufacturing of the equipment can easily cause a gas leak. Then the violation of codes and standards means when the standards of the safe handling of gases are violated, then also it could lead a gas leak. Then the storage of neurotoxin gases for a long time. This was the case in Vishakhapatnam gas tragedy, which occurred last year in lockdown, where styrene gas was stored for a long time, which ultimately caused in some chemical reaction and gas was leaked and many people were poisoned. Now, the second cause is nuclear breakdown means when there is any dysfunction in the nucleus reactor which has the potential to cause any accident. It can take place due to faults in instrument, failure in control system obviously, then the uncontrolled power excursion means when the power generation during any method goes out of control. Then superheated heat, hot metals inside the core, and insufficient cooling of the nuclear fuel. It's necessary to cool down the fuel and metals after the processor, otherwise it can cause a nuclear accident. Now the third cause, industrial fire, which includes all the type of fires caused due to industrial dysfunction. Its causes could be hot work. It includes welding, drilling, or anything that involves spark can easily ignite a fire. Then the machinery and vehicles, any machine or vehicle's poor maintenance can also invite an industrial fire. Gases and liquids. Some gases and liquids are inherently flammable, which can easily cause an accident when are not taken care of. Now, the next topic is effect of environmental accident. These could be the effects, loss of life. Obviously, many people get hurt and many loses their life during any accident. Then the destruction of property, pollution, all kind of pollutions are invited by these environmental accidents. Long-term birth defects. Many children are born with birth defects due to these accidents all over the world.
Now let's discuss about the current situation of these environmental accidents in India. The first one is Bhopal gas tragedy. Well, several rights organizations have been for decades demanding harsh and exemplary punishment to those responsible for the tragedy. But till now, nothing has changed for the survivors, irrespective of the political party in the power, whether it is Madhya Pradesh or at the center. Not only this, be it the case of compensation, rehabilitation, medical treatment for survivors, the governments, it still continue to ignore the adverse impact of gas on the next generation of the victims. In fact, if we talk in the COVID pandemic, it has been observed that the Bhopal gas tragedy has now become an anniversary and it has become a ritual to celebrate it time and again. According to the Health Department official record, the COVID-19 death rate is 6.5 times higher among the gas-exposed population of Bhopal district. Now let's talk about Uttarakhand forest fires. The forests of Uttarakhand have not stopped burning in the last 6 months. There have been a lot of cases. Fires have continued to erupt one after another. While forest fires are a recurring and common phenomena, their frequency has been on the rise in the state. There were about 989 fire incidents in the forest of the state from October 1, 2020 to April 4, 2021, and about 470 incidents of fire in Uttarakhand's forest between November 2020 and January 2021. So we can see that the forest fires, they are still there and they are happening. Now let's talk about the Tamil Nadu boiler blast. Well, there have been a lot of boiler blasts and a lot of chemical industries explosions which have taken place, but till now, the safety culture is still poor. The safety culture is extremely poor in Indian industry, and these employees at Neyveli, they are the latest victims of this, as we could see. The mechanical integrity of the systems should be regularly checked, and there should be inspectors who visit the units on a periodic basis to make sure that all the safety norms are adhered to. Not only this, the companies such as NLCIL, they should make sure that the contractors, they ensure workers' safety. And if they are sending people to work in such conditions, this is the least which they can do for it.
Now, there is a need to make some efforts at large level to tackle such accidents. Now, let's discuss some of the steps that is taken in this direction. The measures that are taken by the government are Environment Protection Act, Wetland Protection Act, and Disaster Management Act. So now let's first discuss what is Environment Protection Act. Bhopal gas tragedy was an eye-opening to the government. Environment Protection Act is result of it. It comes into force in 1986 under Article 253. It has 26 sections and 4 chapters. The purpose of the Act is to implement the decisions of United Nations Conference on Human Environment. They relate to the protection and improvement of human environment and prevention of hazards to human beings, other living creatures, plants, and properties. Now, the next act that is made by the government is Wetland Protection Act. It came into force in 1980. First, we need to understand why the wetlands are important, as the wetlands act as flood control, prevention of pollution and storm damage, protection of public and private water supplies, etc. Now, this act not only includes the wetlands but also other resource areas. The law regulates many types of works in resource areas, including vegetation removal, regarding and construction of houses, additions, decks, derives, and commercial or industrial buildings. The major act that is made by the government in this direction is the Disaster Management Act. it is the act that is not only for the human disaster, but also for the natural disaster, as natural disasters are direct or indirectly due to the human beings. So disaster management includes planning, organizing, coordinating, and implementing measures. As we know, this to stop such accidents, we need to come and cooperate with each other. So it helps to prevent the danger or threat of a disaster, mitigating or reducing the risk of disaster or its consequences, capacity building, preparedness to deal with disaster, prompt response to disaster, assessing the severity or magnitude of a disaster, evacuating, rescue or relief, and rehabilitation and reconstruction. The act includes the measures to be taken by the government for disaster management, the role of local authority, and offences and penalties. As I already told you, that it is not only be done at the single level, it is need to be done at the large pace. It also mandates the establishment of National Institute of Disaster Management, which provides the guideline to how
Peter,
to
you have
tackle with such disaster.
you have 2.5 minutes to bind your presentation. Yeah. Continue. Yeah.
So now we are going to see what are the roles and responsibilities of an individual. We as human beings are a part of nature, and our quality of life depends on all the living things that share this planet with us. We must take care of nature because our well-being depends on it. We as individuals are now the only hopes to save the environment and maintain the sustained development and make the earth best place for future generations. Can we prevent accidents? We can't stop natural phenomena from happening, but we can make them less damaging if we understand better why they happen. We can do is raise awareness, organize prevention campaigns, encourage people. Next, we come to everyday actions. First, we can recycle, reuse, and compost. Recycling involves turning used items into new items. Reusing involves cutting down on waste by reusing items such as grocery bags. And composting involves using food waste to help create nutrient rich soil. Transport conservation is another thing we can do, since one of the biggest sources of greenhouse gases is transportation. Another way you can help the environment is to conserve energy. Switch off the things when you're not using them. You can make the biggest difference by turning off your AC and turning down your heat. As an emergency response, Next, as an emergency response, we should keep a first aid kit, food and drink, clothes. Other things you can put in the kit are flashlight and spare batteries, paper, pencil, portable radios, matches, candles, etc. Next, we come to sustainable development. Sustainable development means that the richness of Earth's biodiversity would be conserved for future generations, if possible, by halting extinctions, habitat, and ecosystem destruction. Next, as our environmental responsibility, we have to make a commitment to respect the environment, follow guidelines, cooperate with the responsible administrative authorities, and carry out and attend environmental protection programs. Thank you for being so patient, and hope you find the presentation interesting and informative.
Good. Thank you so much. Okay.
Here are few of the references from where we could take help to prepare such a factual presentation.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nanya. Okay. So we have some quick question. First question is from the audience side. Can Bhopal gas tragedy or the magnitude of the Bhopal gas tragedy would have been avoided?
Yes, ma'am, it could have been.
Okay, and in what ways? Means through what measurements, and then how it could have been at least lessened the casualty that had taken place. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. There's a simple safety device called a slip line, which is installed into pipes to serve as a watertight seal and blocks the flow of water. In this case, for unknown reasons, the Union Carbide did not have any kind of slip lines installed. That was also one of the major causes for this disaster. That water was freely allowed to move through the pipes and get dissolved into the chemicals.
Okay. Okay. Good. Fine. Okay. Okay. So another question is, okay. if we talk about
Ma'am, I
forest
would like to
fires,
add one more point here. Like,
right,
as you
right.
said, that was absolutely right. But if we look at these kind of factories, which are dangerous and they release chemicals, so chemical-based industries, as it was indeed, they should not be located to residential area. If you talk about
Good.
this UCIL, it was located adjacent to the residential areas, and it was only about 2-3 kilometers away from Bhopal railway station.
Right.
So this is the thing, if it is located to residential area, in case something bad happens, so it's obvious that it's going to spread and it's going to take a lot of
Right,
population under it.
right,
So
right,
that
right.
was a major, it was the major thing
One
which could
of
have
the
been
major
prevented.
factors, right, 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 means taking them away from the residential area can at least avoid that number of casualties in terms of deaths of people if it's between or it's close to the residential area or the working area of people. Good. Right. Okay.
Exactly, ma'am.
Right, right. Okay, so next quick question. Now, forest fires have been addressed by you in the presentation. Can you think they can be prevented? If yes, then how? Or we can reframe this question in a way like we see that the frequency of forest fires is increasing. So, what are the causes for them? And if you work in the reverse direction, then they will become your mitigating factor. How you can stop them from happening, or you can at least lessen that frequency from happening them. Yeah, go on.
Yes, ma'am. As we know, Uttarakhand is a very cold area. It's not a very hot area. So the forest fire in that area is very much unusual. So for this, the main thing is that the temperature there is increasing. That is, we know mainly is due to the global warming. So first is the step that can we take in that area, mainly in Uttarakhand, that because Uttarakhand is a very cold area, and if it is being hot, then it leads to the melting of ice by its adjacent areas. So for that we can prevent industries in that area, and use of electric vehicles mainly in that area, so that there is less of carbon emission and less of greenhouse gases emission in that area.
Okay. Now very good, very well answered, Sakshi. Now that addresses the long-term solution.
Ma'am, one more point.
Right. How we can look for immediate solutions for like reducing these forest fires in general. Let's keep
Ma'am,
aside just
being myself from Uttarakhand, I personally feel that these kind of forest fires which are ignited, they are not just result of carbon emissions or from big huge industries. It's because of the negligence of the common people. I've seen people, they smoke, and after smoking, they just throw the waste, the BDs and all, they throw it here and there. And because of the heat over there, plus the intense, the grasses and all, it catches it so fast that even if you leave it, because I've seen this happening over there, that initially the night before, the day before, it was all clean, but suddenly the things are happening. So it also happens because of the negligence of the common people, that they do something which causes these.
Okay, good. Yeah. Anyone, Ananya, you
Yes,
want to?
ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, and when somehow fires are caused, there should be quickly accessible extinguishing services so that less damage is caused.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, because of the time constraint, we will keep our questions up to this number. Thank you so much. Thank you for your wonderful questions. So now I call upon third and the last PPT of today's session. So this is a group by Shreya, Yashika, Khushi, Lavina, Nisha, and Juhi. Before you begin, then the another fourth group that was of Ridhima, Saloni, Divyanshi, I will give you the new date because I think in one class we are able to finish up only with 3 PPTs. Okay, so then you can present on that day. Okay, it's fine. Okay. So quickly, the group by Shreya Chan, Yashika, Khushi, Lavina. Yeah. Okay, so
A
are
very
you ready?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay, the time starts now. Go.
A very hearty good morning to one and all present over here. Today, I, Shreyachan, Yashika Sharma, Khushi Jaspal, Lavina Saini, Nisha Tomar, and Juhi Upadhyay are here to represent, and the topic represent the PPT, and the topic is various dimensions of public awareness, environmental communication, and their significance in converging the awareness of India. And here are the topic environment CII.
First, Environment CII. The Confederation of Indian Industry CII is a non-governmental trade association and advocacy group based in New Delhi, India, founded in 1895. CII is a body registered under Society Registration Act 1860 of India. The highest governing body of CII is the CII National Council, composed of leading industry heads and experts. CII connects Indian industry with multiple stakeholders across the globe, while also highlighting India's position as a stable and dependent partner. CII strongly believes that partnership and cooperation between industry, government, and civil society is the key to economic and social development of India. CII launched Indian Women Network IWN in 2013 to develop women workforce and work towards challenges faced by them at the workplaces. And CII also set up Young Indians in 2002 to engage youth leaders in nation building. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi addressing the inaugural session of the virtual CII annual session 2020 with the theme Getting Growth Back on 2 June 2020. In that, Narendra Modi gave the plenary speech at CII 125th annual session. He focused on building an Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant India, and bringing back India on the path of rapid development.
Now here we will talk about role of NGOs in creating environment awareness in India. NGOs for environment in India have helped reduce deforestation, soil erosion, and they educate the people on the significance of segregating waste material into biodegradable waste. NGOs for environment in India take steps to educate people and make them aware of the perishing environment. In our country, voluntary organizations and NGOs have contributed immensely to environment conservation. To name a few, first, Bombay Natural History Society, second, World Wildlife, third, Society for Clean Environment, fourth, Friends of Trees, fifth, Nature and Eco Clubs in academic institutions. Spreading awareness among the public on current environmental issues and solutions, facilitating the participation of various categories of stakeholders in the discussion on environmental issues, conducting participatory rural appraisals, protecting the natural resources and entrusting the equitable use of resources, data generation on natural resources, timeline history of villages, and analysis and monitoring of environmental quality. Information through brochures, articles, audio, organizing seminars, lectures, and group discussion for promotion of environmental awareness, helping the village's administrative officials in preparation, applications, and execution of the projects. Now its conclusion. NGOs are playing a formidable role in the current Indian scenario. Environmental NGOs have emerged as one of the strongest external pressure groups and bring about the changes in environmental laws and regulations as well. As informants of environment rules and regulation, NGOs are playing a crucial role in environmental protection, conservation, and development. Government, NGO, and people collaboration is the imminent need of the hour. NGOs are the watchdogs of the environmental issues. Multi-sectoral coordination and convergence and holistic and sustainable development can be achieved with the participation of NGOs.
Now we will talk about what is Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is one of the most popular and significant mission in the history of India. The campaign was introduced by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and which is launched on 145th birthday of Mahatma Gandhi on 2nd October 2014 to honor Mahatma Gandhi's vision of a clean country. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, wastewater treatment including facial sludge management in all ULBs with less than 1 lakh population, sustainable sanitation construction of individual cluster and community toilets, solid waste management, information, education, communication and capacity buildings to make India open defecation free by 2019 by providing access to toilet facility to all. Now, action plan. Improve the growth percentage of toilets from 3% to 10% by 2019, increase in the construction of toilets from 14,000 to 48,000 daily, involvement of school children in the activities for spreading awareness on water, sanitation and hygiene. Swachh Bharat Mission Rural. The rural mission known as Swachh Bharat Gramin aims to make village panchayats open defecation free by October 2, 2019. Considering the filth and unhygienic condition in village schools, this program lays special emphasis on toilets in schools with basic sanitation amenities, construction of Anganwadi toilets, and management of solid and liquid waste in all village panchayat is the object of the Clean India mission. The Nirmal Bharat Abhiyan has been reconstructed into the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan mission. Technology will be used on a large scale to convert wastewater waste into wealth in rural India in the form of biofertilizer. Now, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan Urban. The mission aims to cover 1.04 crore households, provide 2.5 lakh community toilets, 2.6 lakh public toilets, and solid waste management facility in each town.
Center for Science and Environment, the New Delhi-based research and advocacy organization, is widely recognized as one of the India's most influential public interest research institutions working in the field of environment and development. The first one is research and advocacy. CSE's efforts are specifically designed to create awareness about problems and propose sustainable solutions. Research at CSEs often consists of in-depth learning about an environment problem and then finding answer in accordance with CSE's core values. Second one is communication for awareness. CSE's tools for awareness raising are periodical publications, films, briefing papers, exhibition, posters, and other products. CSE's informational products reach people in more diverse ways, such as features, surveys, website, and e-news. The third one is education and training. CSE's Environment Education Program takes environmental issues into the classroom by organizing practical workshops and talks about sustainability issues for school students, youth, and school teachers. The unit also conducts the Ecological Footprint Project, which consists of eco-tours, lectures, and poster competitions that teach children about the ecological dimensions of their city. The fourth one is pollution monitoring. CSE's Pollution Monitoring Laboratory is an independent analytical laboratory that monitors toxic contamination of the environment and uses the result of this monitoring to advocate for improved regulation of the use of toxins in the country. CSEs has focused its research and advocacy programs to influence policy change on the following areas. The first one is managing natural resources to address rural poverty. Then sustainable urban transport and air quality management, sustainable urban water and waste management, sustainable industrialization, sustainable energy and climate change, food safety and environmental health, and the last one is green buildings.
Now, next is eco clubs. Eco clubs plays an important role in creating environmental awareness among the future generation. It is a platform where we get knowledge about environment. It also enables the student to be sensitive towards environmental concern to tackle environment problem. Eco club or green club is a voluntary group which promote the participation of students in learning about and improving the environment. A green club is a means by which student and youth can organize themselves to learn more and this issue and also take action to improve their immediate environment. Next. Eco Club of our group, Pravriddhi. The Environment Society of Shahid Rajguru College of Applied Sciences for Women began in 2005 by a group of teachers and active students. It is a part of National Green Corps national program under the Ministry of Environment and Forest, Government of India 2001. Pravridhi's mission is to create and incorporate the concept of environmental awareness and sustainable development through various activities in and around the college. It recognizes the significance and pivotal role of the students and youth in safeguarding future sustainability to improve the environment. There are various eco groups in Delhi University like Harit Kram of Shahid Bhagat Singh College. Now you must be thinking, what is National Green Corps? National Green Corps is an organization whose primary objective is to spread environmental discipline among the students of all levels in country for environmental conservation. Next, the organization is selected as a local resource agency to facilitate the Andhra Pradesh. It is in Mahbub Nagar district. Under this program, NGC educate the student to identify the local environmental issue and water and trees audit.
Now let us come on the environmental legislation. In the Constitution of India, it is clearly stated that it is the duty of a state to protect and improve the environment and to safeguard the forest and wildlife of country. So the rules are general forest and wildlife, water and air. General. In 1986, the Environmental Protection Act authorizes the central government to protect and improve environmental quality, control and reduce pollution from all sources and prohibit or restrict the setting and or operation of any industrial facility on environmental grounds. Forest and wildlife. In 1927, the Indian Forest Act and Amendment 1984 is one of the many surviving colonial statutes. It was enacted to consolidate the law related to forest. 1972, the Wildlife Protection Act Rules 1973 and Amendment 1991 provides for the protection of birds and animals. Water. In 1974, the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act establishes an institutional structure for preventing and abating water pollution. It establishes standards for water quality and effluent. The CBCP, Central Pollution Control Board, was constituted under this act.
Beta, you have 2 minutes to bind your presentation.
Air. Yeah. Okay, ma'am. The Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Rules defines the procedure of meeting of the boards and the powers entrusted to them. In 1987, the Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Amendment Act empowers the Central and State Pollution Board to meet with grave emergencies of air pollution.
Now, here are some sources used to collect this information. Save Earth. And thank you for watching our presentation so patiently.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. So much. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So I have a quick questions for you. Now, if I create a condition for you where you have to create an awareness on, say, for example, there is waste in your region, or there is a waste around your region, what will be the steps that you will take to create an awareness there? How will you go by? I hope you understood my question. I'm giving you a situation here, right? So in your region or in locality or the place or colony or your sector, wherever you are living, you find that waste is being dumped in the regions around. Okay? And now you decide that, okay, an awareness has to be created. So how you will go about it? Yeah.
Ma'am, first of all, we'll ourselves start collecting that waste and cleaning that environment.
Okay. 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 In terms of awareness, how you are going to do it? How will you make people to go for it, or people to like go for waste management or not throwing it in the landfill pits? Yeah.
By displaying poster with pictorial representation.
Okay.
We can also talk to the
we can
NGOs where the
small drama or act to
right.
to encourage our family, and also we can do, ma'am, that small children, we can educate small children about them, that they can told their parents and their family members to don't chew garbages and all, like
Yes,
in
ma'am, to
the
integrate waste management education into
and,
school curriculum.
and even we
Okay.
can take help of the ward commissioner and like that municipal corporation.
Municipal
uh,
corporation.
Okay.
yes ma'am.
Okay. Good. 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 Okay. Thank you so much for the presentation. Okay. So
Yes.
we have covered 3 presentations. Rest of the presentations we will take tomorrow and followed by on Monday. I'll again remind who all are the groups that have to present their presentation for tomorrow. Okay. So
Ma'am,
yeah, Ritika,
Ruchi ma'am.
please.
Ma'am, can you like take our presentation? Like you have a period today at 11 in with our class. So
Yeah.
like, can you take the presentation today itself
Uh,
during that
Ratna,
period?
actually, the reason for shifting your class was today I have to go to college, so I have to travel, and some urgency had came up with which we are being summoned to the college. That is why I had to shift the classes. So I will be driving at that time. Okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm really sorry for the same. Otherwise, I would have taken. So we will do it tomorrow, and followed by the other presentations. We will do them on 19th. I'll write the names on the WhatsApp group who